Today on Garbage Time Fantasy Football, we got preseason week 1 takeaways and the return of lightning round DFS. It's time for Garbage Time. Welcome into Garbage Time Fantasy Football. I'm your host, Ron Seymour, joined, as always, by Joseph McCann, JJ LaPlante, and Ryan Warner. How are we today, boys?
Things are feeling real, Ron. We did a draft. Football's back. Can do DraftKings. It's all good.
Oh, boy. Football is back. Like I said at the beginning, we do have our preseason week 1 takeaways. We also are going to do DFS lineup. We're also going to go through a little bit of our auction draft that we just did the other day,
Yes,
say some of our better picks and some of the worst picks
and trades
and the trades that have already happened.
Minutes after the draft.
Right. We are Garbage Time Fantasy Football. We're not like some podcasts where we have to declare ourselves the kings of anything. We are just 4 guys talking some fantasy football, having a good time.
That's true.
Yeah.
We also have the return of the angry Christian voicemails.
We have a voicemail. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Make sure you go and join the heckling fandom at www.garbagetimeff.com.
That includes if you're a king, we'll take your voicemails too.
That's right.
Some kings, not all kings.
Kings, gods, whoever wants to. We love voicemails and hate mails.
Yes.
Which we probably have.
Just don't be too boring on your voicemail, you know.
Bring the hate.
All right. What do you want to do first? We want to do news or voicemail?
Christian's return. Let's do the voicemail.
Let's do the voicemail. Here we go. No, we don't. I lied. 1 second.
Give us just a second. This wouldn't
Now
be garbage.
We're going.
Yeah, let's
now
do it.
We're going.
Hey guys, it's your favorite Hackling fan here. Here are some helpful tips and comments for you all. Ryan, I was going to give you shit again for not being on the podcast lately, but then I heard you on the last episode and I realized I get headaches from listening to you talk. So do me a favor and stay on your side of the octagon. Yo, democracy did not win on the last episode. Who won was your inner child crying on air for 5 minutes about how he didn't get his way. It takes work. Do it. Ron, I'm a little disappointed that you changed your mind on Davis being a top 10 QB. But I'm glad that you came to the real world realization that Davis sucks. Only took you 3 months.
Daniel Jones.
To your credit, is 1 month less than it takes a Bears fans to realize how awful their team is. Personally, Ron, as the commissioner of a league, you have certain responsibilities. If you don't make league changes ahead of time, you get crybabies like Joe complaining about your decision in public. Be more responsible. Also, have enough class to keep the rules in place during the duration of the season. Otherwise, you look like a little bitch changing rules in the middle of the season just to benefit you. And your crybabies. JJ, I did write down your prediction on Daniel Mooney. If he doesn't break 1,000 yards in the regular season, you'll be hearing from me. Out.
Looking forward to it.
I like the roast all the way around for his return.
Well done, Christian.
Running tally of how many names he messes up, though.
Yeah, Daniel
Davis.
Jones.
I don't even know a quarterback Davis.
Davis Mills. Was he in your top 10?
Corey Davis.
Is it even Davis Mills?
He did get Mooney right, though.
No, he said David Mooney.
He's just so angry. It
He's
like
so
all just
angry
stumbled
that
up.
it's all like clouding his mind.
It's Ryan's voice.
It is.
He watched one right beforehand. He's like, "Oh man, that voice."
At least I know I have a pass anytime I want to miss an episode now.
That's why we're getting all
okay.
That's right. That's why we're getting all the thumbs downs.
Yeah.
Probably.
I mean, the 2 videos that we have our highest views on are the ones Ryan wasn't on, but we won't bring that up on air.
We haven't brought up a league vote for that yet because we
Right.
do have a dictator of a commissioner, though. So don't worry about it yet.
That's right. I will say that as commissioner, much like Roger Goodell, I'm going to do whatever I want, whenever I want. So, I mean, there's that.
Oh, so that's how we ended up on the sleeper app. Huh?
I'll just deal with the crybabies.
By mistake. It was a mistake.
By mistake.
Right. But, you know, it was so long and so hard to get everyone over to sleeper. It took all of like 10 hours overnight. It was difficult.
It's all right. I will enjoy being the resistance the whole way.
I just feel like anything I try to implement, even if Joe likes it, he should be like, no. We can't have that. Ron wants it. It means no. It's not a good idea.
He wants to talk to a manager.
Are you saying I'm the Karen of this podcast?
He's the
That is
Karen
just
of this
rude.
podcast.
Definitely the Karen of this
Oh,
podcast.
yeah.
Oh, my
You
God.
absolutely are.
Your Instagram wouldn't even be floating if it wasn't for me. I don't want to hear it.
All right. Christian did bring up the Octagon. That's because Ryan and Casey host another podcast called Garbage Time Presents the MMA Podcast. Go over and give that a check out on Spotify. Make sure you give that a follow too, along with us. Mostly us, though.
Yeah, just mostly us.
Mostly us.
I mean, fair enough.
We've already discovered that no one wants to hear Ryan's voice, so I mean, obviously,
No,
we're the one. We're the one you want to subscribe to.
He's here for
Actually,
the
just-
one-line slingers.
I should just have a teleprompter up where I type what I want to say. And
Right.
it just
Have a Stephen Hawking voice.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
I should do it.
Oh man, that's
Oh.
great.
You know what? That's what we'll do. We'll do DFS, and the worst one for the first week gets to use a teleprompter voice.
Oh my goodness, you think I'd be able to set that up? Stop it.
Nobody would
Right.
listen to that episode.
I don't even know how to do that.
Neither do
But-
I.
But going back to you being a dictator, Ron, you may be the dictator, but we do have the soundboard this week, so the dictator gets to bring on the new sound again, which I love.
Yeah, you got to do. The
Oh.
news drop. Are you ready for it?
Let's do it.
You got the news all geared up and ready to go.
You know what pumps me up.
I'm going to take you over to Joseph McCann now with the news.
And JJ, he's got preseason news.
Shut up, Joe. The music dropped.
Asshole.
News updates.
Oh, yeah, the drop is back. How do you boys feel about the Chase Claypool sprained ankle injury that they called minor, but Roethlisberger and Deontay Johnson were carrying him off the field?
I think he's
issues
all right.
Scare me.
Yeah, no, the sprained ankle does scare me, but I think he'll be all right.
Was it a high ankle sprain? Was it a normal ankle sprain? Did they say?
They
I
said
need more
low.
information.
They said low ankle sprain, and he just tweeted out half an hour ago, all is well. So
Yeah, but
I'm
he's
sure he
not
won't
gonna.
play the rest of the preseason, but I bet I'll be back week 1.
Ankle injuries scare me, man. They have a tendency to come back if they're
And-
not.
Right. And just remember, teams don't have to disclose how serious injuries are in the preseason, so they might be playing games there. So just watch it.
Yeah.
And some other news, too. Ryan can breathe now that Dak Prescott has been cleared for MRIs. He's ready to throw again and throw for 6,000 yards, so his boy is ready to go.
That's
Hard
right.
Knocks tonight.
Mm-hmm. On Sunday, Jordan Love looked like shit. Sunday's game, he also left with a shoulder injury. So Aaron Rodgers is going to play, so there's no concern with that. But I guess look out for that for Dynasty, considering he looked like shit. And now he's going in with an injury.
It must have been pretty good injury too, because they just signed another quarterback earlier today.
Yeah, no,
No one of note, but they brought
Right.
in another QB probably
He-
because he's injured.
he's going to be rehabbing, so he's not going to be someone you can just like pluck off in a 2-quarterback format anymore or anything. If like Rodgers went down, it's just something you're going to have to monitor if you're looking to play him in the long term. Melvin Gordon suffered a groin injury too, which is going to play into the other running backs of the Denver Broncos. So watch that. I unfortunately drafted him this weekend, which he's going to be, succeeding some reps to a rookie on that team too. So I'm going to be slightly concerned with that because he's going to be getting more repertoire with that offense. Not looking forward to that. So hopefully he's not gone for that long. DeAndre Swift returned to practice, so that's very important for the Lions offense, which is horrible. Carson Wentz could be ready for week 1, which was crazy considering the timeline that they were saying 5 to 12 weeks. It did line up with week 2, so it's at the very early end of that spectrum.
Also, Quentin Nelson, right?
Yeah, yep. They were saying he could be ready for week 1 too. So they really were blowing some smoke out there with these injuries, I think, too. I don't know why, but
that's huge. Quentin Nelson is huge for Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah. Obviously, they weren't going to see Tyrod Taylor's surgeon. They were actually going to see the opposite end of surgeons, which are miracle workers. So that's good. Tyrod, you get injured again. Go see those guys. Stay away from your guy. Darren Waller is still hurt, and he's not expected to be seen within the next 2 weeks, too. So that's a little bit concerning. And Elijah Moore is day-to-day, which I'm very happy about. He's not expected to practice this week, but he'll be ready for week 1. So my boy is going to be healthy, ready for the breakout year.
Yeah. I'm all with you on that breakout year for him and Zach Wilson. My dynasty team will love it. My super young dynasty team.
Oh, I thought we were going to skate over this.
Before we go down this rabbit hole, let me just clean something up. Joe said Waller actually returned to practice today. He's back. He's not out.
Am I wrong on shit then?
Wow.
Yeah,
now can we go down the rabbit hole?
Yes, I was.
JJ allotted us 7 to 10 minutes of garbage time. So
all right, I'll sit over in the corner and like a little kid on timeout, twiddling his thumbs while you just destroy me for this. Go ahead.
So in the last podcast, Joe was talking about how he was the best drafter because my team may look better right now, but his is the younger team. Well, good old, horrible voice Ryan over there crunched the numbers. And by 0.1 of years of age, the average of my team is younger than the average of Joe's team. So let's all sit back and watch Joe eat some crow, which is very good because that's the picture in our logo that shows who Joe really is as a person.
Crow is very good. Are you a wildling?
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of crow, and I take it in spoonfuls sometimes. And today I'm at the buffet, so I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
So.
All those cartoons where like someone's really hungry and they back up the dump truck of food and they just like unhinge their jaw?
Yeah, I'm shoveling that shit in. I get the idea. So I'll give you your 1 minute in the limelight because you'll never have that lifting a trophy in our league. So we'll give you this moment.
Oh, man. Now if I win this year, it's going to be a rough off season for you next year if I win.
It's going to be a rough off season for all of us. You're just going to be gloating the whole year, so we can't let you win.
JJ occasionally brings out the thing. I will have it set up somewhere so it's always shown on screen. Like, see, JJ has to reach for it and show it. No.
Yeah, you know what it'll happen is our logo for the show will change. It'll just say Ron 1. Nothing else. It won't say Garbage Time Fantasy Football. It'll just be Ron 1.
I'll just take a picture of it and put it up on my green screen here, and it'll just be that. Or a picture of me holding it like this.
In all honesty, guys, my T-ball participation trophy is bigger than this. So if I fucking lose, I'm just gonna buy you guys a big new trophy. Put my name on it for this year.
I want a belt, actually. I want a belt.
Because JJ doesn't want to give it back. He's holding on to it.
He's like, this is the first one. This is mine.
Okay. It's too small, but really,
this is a shaker cup, and this is a trophy. All right? Come on.
It's all right. Well, it's all right. Well, the toilet bowl trophy is even smaller than that, so maybe you'll get that.
Well, it should be, right?
It should be. Yeah, in all honestly, it should be.
All right, so now we're going to pass it off to JJ, who would like to go over the preseason, I think, now, right?
I mean, just a couple guys that stood out. I mean, I think we can go around, and if someone has somebody they like, but Justin Fields is the best quarterback in the NFL. So,
oh Jesus,
that happened Saturday.
Oh my
Mitch
God.
Trubisky's right behind him.
Right.
Hey, guys, this Saturday is the big game. So. I talked about it.
Oh, that's right. The preseason Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Preseason game of the year.
The game he's most excited for all year long.
Trubisky
preseason game.
Preseason week 2.
Hell yeah.
Trubisky returned to the Bears.
He's gonna
very short NFL season for JJ.
Yeah. He's done after this week.
Yeah. it's as high as it's going to get right there. But no, in all honesty, calming down the hype train, Fields obviously looked pretty good in the second half of that game. I know it's preseason. I don't think he's going to start the year still, but it was nice to see. You could see his skill set and why they drafted him so high. So I saw a lot of things I liked. All the rookies had their moments, so that was cool. Yeah. And one guy that stood out to me that I just wanted to get this to the listeners, Tony Jones from the Saints. I added him in both our leagues. I went back and watched the game, and he looked really good for the Saints. Running back. He's out of Notre Dame, undrafted free agent from last year, but he looked really good running the ball, and it wasn't just like one big run that added the numbers. He had multiple 10-plus yard runs. He looked pretty fast, powerful, ran through arm tackles, and they're already saying Latavius Murray is on the roster bubble.
It might be because of him.
I honestly think this kid could come in and take the Mark Ingram role over with as good as he looks.
So this is a Garbage Time Fantasy Football exclusive for people drafting for your last pick. Maybe take him.
I may not even be there, and he may not make the team, but I thought he looked really good.
Keep an eye on him. Maybe go do a quick ad in your dynasty teams if you have an empty spot or someone you could drop. Couple things I want to highlight from the preseason that I saw. Marvin Jones, wide receiver for Jacksonville, was heavily utilized by Trevor Lawrence. I know I've been talking about him a bit this offseason, how I think he could be the one in this team. And this first game showed me that he really could be. I know a lot of people are saying Laviska Shenault, but I still believe it may be Marvin Jones.
No, they weren't even using Shenault in two wide receiver sets, and that's with their other starting wide receiver out. He is the slot guy. So their base set is two wide receivers, two tight ends. So he's not even in the starting lineup right now. And that's concerning considering one of their starters.
He meant two running backs, two tight ends.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, regardless, he's not starting, okay? Yeah, so that's what I meant.
Another actual position group
he's starting
that I want to point out that did a really good job. There's a lot of factors that go into them possibly looking better than they may have been. And they were without their first round pick, the Jets offensive line, they were moving lines. I know the Giants didn't start practically any of their starters on defense, but that offensive line was opening up big holes for the running game and protecting Zach Wilson very well.
Without Elijah Vera Tucker, which you gave credit for.
Tucker. Yep. So I do foresee that the Jets running game could be pretty good. I didn't like the fact that Ty Johnson got the start.
He looked damn good at the start.
He did look good, but I want Michael Carter to be the starter.
Here's the thing, though. So I'll elaborate on that a little bit more, though, too. Their veteran, Tevin Coleman, he was out for personal reasons. He came back the next day. He's still listed as number 2 on the depth chart, too. So he's going to be in that field. So it's still looking like a running back by committee for now. The rookie still got time to build up Carter to become the starter, and I think he will eventually. But he really does have some competition there, and they all looked very good in that offense. Hell, their fourth guy that they got from Florida State a few years ago even looked good. It's just, I think it's like you were saying, the concept of actually having the good line finally, which was awesome because you could see small aspects of that bullshit Adam Gase stuff gone, and they're going to be moving players around. There's going to be audibles, and it's going to be a real fucking offense, and I love it.
All right. Ryan, you have anyone you want to talk about? I know there's one you're really not happy about.
Yeah, so I'm really not happy when I saw Malcolm Brown get the start for Miami over Myles Gaskin. He looked awful, which is nice, but it also made my confidence in Myles Gaskin drop quite a bit. I mean, I was pretty big on him. I thought he had carved out a pretty secure role, but now you got Brian Flores saying pretty much we're going to do a running back by committee kind of thing. So it makes me a little nervous. I think Myles Gaskin still gets most of the passing work, but it's still kind of a bummer.
It's all right. It's more secure than Tim Tebow's job with the Jaguars, so you might be good.
You didn't even bring that up in the news.
I know. Well, I just dropped it.
Tim Tebow released. Good thing I didn't draft him. Oh, JJ, that's a little behind the scenes. I was going to draft Tim Tebow for $1 at the end of the draft just to mess with you.
But he needed the roster spot, though.
I thought you'd really love it if someone drafted Tim Tebow.
We know how you feel about those. We know how you feel about those tight end QBs.
Yeah.
Ryan, was there anyone else you wanted to talk about, or were you good?
I thought Matt Jones looked pretty good. It was a lot of short kind of passes, but that's pretty much what we had gotten used to in New England, even with Tom Brady towards the end there. So I thought he looked pretty good. I wasn't super impressed with Cam, the few plays that he did play. And then that running back,
Ramondre Stevenson.
He looked awesome. His yardage is a little bit padded because of, what was it, like a 96-yard run at the end of the game, I think, or something like that. But
91.
Yeah, he still looked really good though. So he got picked up in our leads before I got to jump on him. But that was,
you son of a bitch, JJ.
That's some excitement there because I don't think we keep Sony Michel.
I mean, if we had a fab process, it wouldn't have been like that. But
true.
Anyway, back on Mac Jones, he did do a lot of smaller passes, but he did have that beautiful long bomb to the end zone where it was right where it needed to be. Got to give credit to that defensive back. He played it perfectly, but there was still a chance for that wide receiver to catch that ball, and that would have been one of those highlight plays where all of a sudden Mac Jones' stock would have been increasing a lot.
And it is worth noting Bill Belichick has not named a QB1 yet, according to Cam Newton. I still think Cam gets to start, but it's not going to be named until the day before the game, probably. But
I'm still rolling with week 3. Mac Jones will be the starter.
I'm wavering on that a little bit. I think it might take a little bit longer. I love what I saw from Mac Jones. He looks like a mini Tom Brady clone, but it was a vanilla offense. I want to see a little bit more. Yeah, almost exactly. It was. We might be in trouble in a few years, but let's enjoy the time he's not on the field. So, I think with that too, I wanted to touch on Ramondre Stevenson too because I thought he looked absolutely sick in a backfield, which is also similar to a committee style. Those 90-yard runs, that's going to get you noticed, and that's going to get you more touches during the game, and that's simply why JJ picked him up as his last spot after the draft was done. There's a lot of potential for there, especially for a team that runs the ball as much as New England does. Trey Lance showed what he could do over the weekend too. These rookie QBs were fantastic this past weekend. I really see him being a weapon for the 49ers this year, and I am all in on that offense, which is shown by our draft, which we'll get into too. Trey Sermon kind of bumbled and stumbled his way too, but he was getting a lot of snaps as a starter. And their starting running back was on special teams too, so that's telling you the way that they're going to. Shanahan has a lot of trust, I think, into Trey Lance, and I think he's going to use him a lot.
Yeah. I don't know. We got to wait and see when he actually frickin' starts, though. That's the problem.
It's all right. I'll let him, marinate a little bit. He'll be on the bench for a week or two for me, and then hopefully I'm playing him.
Week 7, he's going to start versus the Bears.
Yeah,
you're hoping.
Will Justin Fields be in by then?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I think Justin Fields is starting.
So the Irish Bears show that I made a guest appearance on, they tweeted out their prediction on when Fields would start. And they said Dalton's going to lose to the Rams week 1. Week 2 is the Bengals at home. We'll win that game. Week 3, go to Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
And he thinks the Bears will lose that game. And then week 4 is versus the Lions. And that's when they're projecting Fields will come in. I think I can definitely see that happening like that.
Well, that might be the week you may want to use Justin Fields in DraftKings because you can probably get him for $3,000 because they won't announce it until halfway through the week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. No, yeah. But I still think Dalton's – though Fields is now – he got some reps with the ones today and this week, so he hadn't been getting that.
I believe that if Justin Fields keeps having the preseason that he's having, they're going to start him week 1. Because if not week 1, then it will be week 2 because the fan base will be going insane. The first interception that Andy Dalton throws, the first anything, that crowd is going to be going insane watching Justin Fields in there.
Hell, the crowd, dude. The freaking head coach is feeling the hot seat for his job.
Yeah.
The owner's looking down on what he's going to be doing. Why would you want to stagnate the team at all? Just start the kid that can save your job.
Yeah.
It's obvious he's going to be good.
Yeah.
Start him. What do you got to lose?
I'm so glad he ended
besides
up
your
on
job?
the Giants. Oh, that's right. No. That's right. No. The Giants could have drafted him,
Right.
but they didn't. That's right. I forgot.
Instead, you trade it back.
And got Kadarius Toney.
Enjoy Daniel Jones for another year.
I'm sad again.
And I think with that, Ron, didn't we have a draft this past weekend, an auction draft?
We did. No way.
How did it go for you?
It went phenomenally for me.
I think it went well for all
So
of
I
us.
had a very specific draft strategy going into this game or this league. My keepers were Antonio Gibson for $1 and Darnell Mooney for nothing. And I told myself I want to walk out of this draft with 2 of the top running backs that were left. Took a hot minute for him to show up, but Christian McCaffrey popped up. And I'm like, yep, I'm taking Christian McCaffrey.
And what'd you spend on your boy?
$69.
Whoo!
It was a heated battle between me and another team.
I think Ryan was in there for a while, weren't you?
For a little bit.
Yeah, but he was just bidding up Tommy.
That was my strategy.
Yeah.
One that
And then-
played out lovely for you this past week.
And then right after that, or not right after that, but shortly after that, Saquon Barkley came up. I understand that Saquon Barkley might not play first couple weeks or so. I still feel like he's actually going to be out there week 1. If it's not week 1, it will be week 2. So I went all in for Saquon Barkley too. I paid $58 for Saquon. I was pretty much strapped with money at that point, but I left the draft with Saquon, Christian McCaffrey, and Antonio Gibson. All 3 could be top 5 running backs by the end of the year. So I'm very happy with my draft.
Yep. So round out your entire roster, and what we'll do is each one of us will go down a strength, a weakness, and a sleeper on your roster.
All right. So my quarterback, Matt Ryan, Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley. Calvin Ridley was my other big spend of the night at $56. Darnell Mooney, Jalen Waddle, Tylerhigbee, Antonio Gibson, Deebo Samuel. I got the Giants defense because all the other defenses I wanted were gone. I took a $1 shot on Justin Fields. I really hope he's a starter week 1. Marvin Jones, Russell Gage, Jamal Williams, and Paris Campbell, AJ Green, and I can't see the bottom of my list for some reason.
He's still scrolling, folks. Give him a second.
No, I can't even figure out how to scroll. It's not even letting me scroll. Something's going crazy.
That age is just showing up again.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess while you're doing that, then if we can't get through the rest of your, what'd you say, Ryan?
I think he drafted Jonnu Smith. Did you say that?
Yes, I did. That was kind of an accident, but yeah, I did.
And then Matt Ryan.
Yeah, I already said Matt Ryan.
I think you
Jonnu
covered them
Smith
all.
was my last one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't see Jonnu Smith.
Oh, okay.
Off my instantly, I know my wide receivers could be a problem. I have a lot of people that I really need to hit big. I have Marvin Jones. I still feel like he could be a solid number 2 wide receiver this year. And everything out of camp says Jalen Waddle's looking pretty good, and he already has the chemistry with Tua. So I'm really hoping that he has a good enough season to be my solid wide receiver 3 for the year. So I think wide receiver is probably my weakest point.
It's okay, Ron. You don't have to defend yourself. Let us tear your teams apart and tell your strengths and weaknesses. It's all right. We got you covered, buddy.
It's always better to know your weaknesses, not have to have someone else tell you.
That's how you end up out of a job. All right. Since I like this format, I'll start off with your strengths, your weaknesses, and who I think is a sleeper on your team too. obviously, as you pointed out, the big strength of your team is you definitely went a very aggressive style with Auction League, which is a strategy, and it's a very good one. It works quite often. Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, and Antonio Gibson is an insane 3 running back situation stable. Just in your league, and now especially on your team, you have to hope Saquon's actually healthy, because if not, that could especially cripple your team. I really think they're just laying in the weeds, and that injury is fine, and he's going to be ready to roll week 1. He may, take a few weeks to get going, but he's going to be fantastic. Your weaknesses are obviously your wide receiving core, and Calvin Ridley is your only proven receiver. But man, he's got the ability to be the number 1 wide receiver in the entire league this year, which could give you 2 wide receivers in one spot. But, if he doesn't perform for you, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. And, you just have to hope that Marvin Jones is the favorite target of your boy Trevor Lawrence now. So if that doesn't work out, it could be a little bit bad for you. And I think your sleepers on your team are actually Deebo Samuel, because I really like that 49ers offense. He's got to stay healthy, though, so that's something to consider. And you recently made another move, which I like, which is Amon-Ra Brown on waivers, too. He's really the only other weapon besides Hawkinson to throw to that's not at the running back position for that team. So he's a rookie. There's a little bit of upside. If he sucks, you can drop him. So he could be a saving grace in your wide receiving core if Marvin Jones doesn't end up working out for you. But your 3 running backs are going to carry your team, and that's what you're going to have to rely on.
And everything I hear right now is that Amon-Ra St. Brown has been far and away the best wide receiver at Lions camp.
Well, who the hell else is there?
Well, that's what I mean. I know it's not saying anything much to be the best on anything at the Lions camp, but I'll take the best on a crap team than the 3rd best on a good team. Did I say that right?
Does it matter?
All right, Joe, why don't you go ahead and break down your team?
These other guys don't want to break down your team?
I do that.
So I'll just say, Ron went with really the strategy that I did last year, getting 2 big backs. Last year I had Kamara and Zeke and Jonathan Taylor, so I had the 3 big backs. I ended up trading Taylor to Ryan here, Brown Robinson, which kind of worked out for both of us. That's right when Taylor turned it on, and Robinson got me what I needed to win the championship. So I thought Ron did well. I am when I auction, I'm like I use a similar strategy. I spend big early, get the guys you want, because I hate being in the middle rounds having to overpay for guys because your roster isn't filled out. So I'd rather get the big dogs in the beginning and then fill it in with upside guys. So I like what Ron did a lot. He stole Fields from me for $1 because I got bid up on Lamar Jackson, so that hurt. But yeah,
I'll trade you Fields for Jackson straight up, man.
Maybe a package deal. Maybe week 4.
Maybe week 4.
Wait for another preseason game. Maybe I'll do it.
All right.
But yeah, I like Ron's draft. I think he's definitely in the playoffs. If Deebo stays healthy, he can. That would be nasty. So
yeah.
Your
dog agrees too.
Yeah, your dog's very happy with that choice.
Some riled up dogs over here tonight.
The big dogs.
All right, Ryan, you got anything about my team?
No, you guys covered it pretty well.
The one-liners.
It helped you so much too that you had really good keepers, just so you had that budget coming in to be able to get those big names. Because your keepers were really, really good this year. So having that really kind of gave you some capital, and it just goes to show how much keepers benefit you if you can get those low value guys early on, right before they kind of explode.
When you're not spending over $80 of your money on your 2 keepers.
It's true.
Exactly.
Wonder who that's pointed at.
No, what I was talking about.
Joe and me.
Yeah.
Well, no, I was actually more referring to Tommy.
Yeah, $80.
Sure.
All right, Joe, go ahead. Run down your team.
Okay, so my keepers going into this year were Dalvin Cook and J.K. Dobbins. So obviously I spent $64 on Cook last year. Dobbins was $5, but I went in with significantly less money than other guys in this league. So I took a conservative approach this year, early in the draft anyway, and towards the mid part of the auction, I had the most amount of money in it, and it really did work out for me. My patience did anyway, and a little bit later when I needed more running backs the next day, I got a little creative, and it worked out for me. So in this draft, I ended up with Kyler Murray, who was the second most expensive quarterback in our league. I believe Ryan ended up with the most expensive quarterback with Dak Prescott. Dobbins as my keeper. Dalvin Cook was obviously my other expensive keeper. My patience also got me 2 number 1 wide receivers on the brink, somewhere between 10 to 12, in my opinion. I walked away with Allen Robinson and Keenan Allen, and I am really big on Keenan Allen. I was willing to spend a lot of money on him this year in our draft. I think I spent it was somewhere between $34 and $38, if I'm not mistaken, but I don't have that in front of me.
31 for Keenan Allen, 28 for Allen Robinson.
Oh, so I actually got him a little bit cheaper than I would have expected and would have gone higher. Now, this is where I looked at a player, and no matter what happened, he was ending up on my team. I was willing to spend the rest of my money for him because I really believe in him this year. His value in a lot of leagues is average auction price was $14, and I was willing to go up to $28 for him. It was Brandonaiyuk. I really believe in the 49ers offense this year, and he was going to end up on my team. I believe I ended up paying $26 for him. I'm really struggling at the tight end position. I first started off with the Chargers tight end who was Cook. No, not Cook.
Yes, Cook.
Yep, Cook. I cut him yesterday and signed Ferkser because he's got a better week 1 lineup playing a very bad secondary. Then I ended up with Odell, which the next day I ended up trading. Actually, minutes after the draft, I ended up trading to Ryan for James Robinson, who is actually getting a lot of hype out of the camp right now, but it's to be determined, especially with that backfield. He's got a lot of potential there. I believe I stole Antonio Brown for $3. I think he's going to be a high-end target for Tom Brady this year. I think he's going to be the favorite target there.
I was already out of money at that point, so I couldn't bid him up anymore.
Same.
Yeah, I was very happy with that pickup.
The NFC South episode, I have Antonio Brown as being the number 1 fantasy wide receiver from that team.
Yep. So my conservative approach there really paid off.
Yeah.
Then I got the Chargers defense, who I think is very underrated, and it's going to be a sleeper good defense this year. I called my shot with my backup quarterback. I've got Kyler Murray. So I picked up Trey Lance because, like I said, I really think they're going to have a prolific offense this year. Trey Lance may not start week 1, but I can let his ass marinate on the bench. I think he's going to be good there. He's got a lot of running upside too. Shanahan just tends to get his quarterbacks to play well, and he just has all the talent in the world. So he's a good fill-in, I think, later on in the season for me. Should Murray go down too and on a waiver week. Next, I've got Gordon. He's decent depth for Denver. A little bit concerned with the injury that just came up, and I think he's going to have to worry about the rookie. Tevin Coleman, another veteran there for the Jets. He's honestly my first waiver wire throwaway if he doesn't end up producing in the next 2 weeks, and I'm looking at better options. Antonio Madison is a good handcuff. Finally got that right. Marquis Brown, the number 1 wide receiver for the Ravens. Their rookie's hurt this year, so that's not really an opportunity for him to take it. Small pie there, but potential there for the number 1 spot. Elijah Moore, all of the upside in the world for the Jets, and I'm so happy he's on my bench this year. We'll see what he does, if he can work his way into my lineup. And I also had Ronaldjones, which JJ will elaborate because he thinks some of these guys put a little bit of a poop emoji on our sleeper draft after I traded him for Trey Sermon, who I think has a lot of upside too. So I believe I have fixed my running back depth, and I think my team is all set finally. I've got everything that I want. I'm running heavily on the 49ers offense, and I suggest our viewers do it too.
You have a good, solid, all-around team. You don't have that wide receiver that I think breaks out and becomes like that could potentially finish as the wide receiver 1, I should say. Like,
I agree with that.
He doesn't have like that upside. But you have multiple that could finish as a wide receiver 1.
It's a lot better than my wide receiver depth chart last year, which I got to the playoffs with. So watch out.
Yeah, I think you have a good, solid, all-around team. Your tight end is kind of a, hoping that Ferkser hits, which I also do too. I think he could be really good this year.
I might be playing the waiver wire with that this year, but that's typically what happens if you don't, especially this year. If you don't have one of the top 6 options, you're going to be playing the matchups week to week.
You did the right thing. So you notice that Ferkser goes against the Cardinals week 1?
The 32nd ranked defense from last year.
Against tight ends, they've been quite bad the past couple years, really. I don't think they've really done much to improve that either. Mm-hmm. So he could be a really good play week 1. We'll more on that when we get to the DFS portion. But I can't, there's nothing I can really like ironclad say that's bad with your team. Your running back depth is a little shaky. You got your first 2, but after that, it's kind of a lot of hopeful in there, you know?
It's a lot better than it was after the draft.
Right. Well, yeah, adding Trey Sermon helps, but
I swear to God, if Odell breaks out for a Pro Bowl season after I traded him to Ryan, I'm going to be pissed.
All right. JJ, Ryan, you guys got anything?
Yeah, Joe is very obsessed with the 49ers offense, and I mean, it could be good. I think they were 15th last year. I know they had a lot of injuries, but I don't know. I think Shanahan is a good coach, but he gets a ton of hype. But overall, I think his team's pretty good. He'll stream tight end this year, and that's fine. I do that a lot. It was tough because both Kelsey and Waller were kept, and the price on Kittle went way over value. So to get one of the top 3 guys. Yeah. So, I mean, Joe got both Robinson and Keenan Allen for cheaper than George Kittle, which I guess that's the range he would go in a snake draft, but still, I thought he did good getting those 2 receivers. And, Cook and Dobbins is reliable. The Ravens pass catchers are kind of going down. Like, Watkins went down today. Bateman's going to be out for a little bit. Hollywood's had a hamstring issue. So, besides Mark Andrews and Lamar Jackson running, Dobbins is probably going to have to make up for a lot of production early. So,
that's good.
Like his outlook. And AB, yeah, Joe got him real cheap. So, it's another good team that I'm going to have to beat this year. So,
I know you also had an opinion on today's trade.
Yeah, Joe made a trade. Ronald Jones for Trey Sermon straight up. I just said it's bullshit because Giovanni Bernard's already taken all the 3rd down reps with the 1s for the Bucs. So Ronald Jones is going to split time on 1st and 2nd down with Leonard Fournette. And then you got Trey Sermon, who's getting pumped carries in the preseason, and he's going to get passing work. So I think he could easily hit 1,000 yards this year. So I think old Sylvester in the league got ripped off pretty hard, but
I don't know. I could see, I definitely think Ronald Jones loses the 3rd down work. I think that's the reason they brought in Giovanni Bernard, and Tom Brady's always liked his pass catching guy, and Ronald Jones has just never been that guy. I kind of feel like they do similar to what they did last year, though. They're going to use Ronald Jones throughout the season and just have Leonard Fournette as like a, come in every once in a while, get 4 or 5 carries a game, and then keep him fresh. And then when they make the playoffs, use playoff Lenny with his fresh legs and use Leonard Fournette like they did last year, how they brought him in, because he didn't play a whole lot during the regular season last year. It wasn't until the playoffs when Leonard Fournette, they really started giving him the bulk of the work. And I think they're going to want to replicate some facet of that same ideal.
All I can say is off air, you guys, after I made that trade, were making me feel like the used car salesman of fantasy football trades. So
I didn't say anything. I went in, I approved it as commissioner.
Yep. And in our sleeper thing, I got 4 shit emojis for it. 4.
Yep.
If it was up for a vote, I would have been a little bit scared.
No, you can't deny that trade. Like Ronald Jones ran for 970 yards last year. It just
and Trey Sermon hasn't done anything yet.
Right. It's just Sermon has such a great opportunity in front of him. I can really see him panning out. But I wouldn't have vetoed the trade. Like it just Joe.
Okay, Ryan, you got anything about Joe's team?
I think you guys covered it pretty good. The only thing is, I think Joe said I paid more for Dak than he did Kyler.
That was
Joe paid 20. Joe paid $22 for Kyler. I don't think that's bad. I mean, based on where a lot of us had Kyler going. So Joe paid the second most for a QB, but I mean, Joe, I'm pretty sure you had him finishing first, didn't you?
I did.
Top, yeah. So, I mean,
Him and
I don't
JJ
think that's
both
bad.
actually.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't think that's bad, but just to give the listeners an idea of kind of where the budget for Kyler went as far as in our auction draft.
The one QB that took more was Patrick Mahomes with $33.
Right. So I'm sorry, you're right. He was the second. But the reason why I was able to take Kyler in this spot, I don't typically play from the format where I spend a lot of money on a QB, but I was playing conservative and the opportunity was there. And I said, shit, he's basically another running back in that spot too. So I took my shot with him. But I think what might end up being my saving grace or my downfall this year is not the trade for Odell. It's the fact that I was heavily in on the Kyle Pitts betting and then I let up. So if Ayuk does not work out for me, which I spent a ton of money on, and I skipped on Kyle Pitts, who's a big effing target hog, and I am drinking the Kool-Aid on him this year, that'll be where I lose.
All right. Ryan, go ahead and read down your team.
All right. Yeah. So I went into this this draft with Myles Gaskin and Jonathan Taylor as my keepers. Jonathan Taylor for $6, courtesy of JJ. Thank you. Myles Gaskin for $0. My big thing entering this draft was, one, I know I needed another big name running back. I like John Taylor, but Myles Gaskin still had me a little nervous as I didn't think he was someone I'd want to rely on every week as my second running back. So I did end up getting Austin Eckler at $47, which I didn't think was too bad. And then my second thing was, I know I didn't want to be in a position like Joe found himself in. I wanted one of those top six tight ends, someone that I could start pretty regularly and not have to worry about that position. So I did end up snagging Hawkinson, which anyone who knows me knows that kind of a Hawkinson fanboy. Did get him, overpaid a bit for $16, but as these guys know, I kind of ran into a budget issue in that I had too much money. So I played a little bit conservative. I'm kind of kicking myself because I mean, with the money I had left over, I probably could have secured like George Kittle or or Kyler Murray or one of those big name guys. So that if I lose, that's probably where I'm going to be looking back at the end of the season, is that extra $15 I had sitting at the end. Well, 14. But so my team rounded out. I got Myles Gaskin, John Taylor as my keepers, Austin Eckler at running back, Chris Godwin, Deontay Johnson, TJ Hawkinson, Robert Woods, T. Higgins. I ended up getting Dak. As listeners know, I had him rated as the number 1 QB. So kind of got into a bidding war with him for him. Ended up securing him. Cortland Sutton, James Robinson, who, as we talked about, I traded to Joe. I was with Joe after the draft, and he was very upset at himself for that Odell pick because it kind of screwed him out of the sermon thing. So I knew he was looking to unload him, and I like the upside of Odell compared to James Robinson, and I was kind of nervous with how that situation's going.
It came full circle. It's all right.
Yeah. And then LaVisca Chenault. I also got Tom Brady just because I wanted another reliable backup QB because Dat's health was in question as of draft time. Michael Gallup, Damian Harris, Robert Tonyan. I think Tunyan's stock went up when Aaron Rodgers decided to come back. I still think last year was a fluke as far as the number of touchdown receptions he got, but it's still kind of nice to have him there. And then the Patriots defense, which they have a lot of starters returning. I think they're going to be a top 5 defense this year.
Very nice.
Let me clarify before we get into your team too. I was also in on Mark Andrews too. So yes, I was trying to get a tight end.
Yes.
I just
Yes.
failed. I failed everywhere.
Joe, I don't know if your cousin listens to the show, but I don't know what the hell she was doing at tight end. She bid on like 7 tight ends and has like 3 on her team, and then spent like $10 on defenses and bought 2 defenses. It just had to be said.
I would talk shit, but she knocked me out of the playoffs last year, so I have no room to.
Yeah, so I
don't
have
know
it
if
right
that's
here.
right.
Actually, she does have Dallas Goddard, Mark
Mark
Andrews, and Evan Ingram.
Well, if I need to use car salesman myself at tight end, I guess I know where to go.
And also has the Steelers and Rams defense. But whatever. What if she beats us all?
I
People are
will
gonna look
say
back to
the
this
money
episode.
spent on defenses in this draft had me freaking baffled.
Oh,
Yeah.
when I threw out the Buccaneers for my first pick.
No, not even that. Just the money spent, like Buffalo going for $8. Like,
Tampa
Well,
went for $5.
Well, I knew there were some Bills fans in the league, so the homerism just won out.
yeah, I just
Yeah.
It's insane.
I mean, I did pay the most for a defense, but that's also because it was my last
you
last
just
pick.
poured all of your money into the last pick.
Yeah.
He just wanted that budget to say zero, so he didn't feel bad about himself.
Yeah, I was hoping it helped. I thought it might help if I said I spent all my money.
But
Okay.
then,
All right, so
you
Ryan,
want
with
to
your
take a
team,
defense.
kind of the same thing I told you. You're like your running back depth outside of your top two is kind of uninspiring, I guess would be the word. Your wide receivers, if I was looking at it, I would say you have quite a few number 2 wide receivers on your team, and you need one of them to step up and become a number 1.
Just trade one to Ron. He needs wide receivers.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not wrong. Maybe I might need wide receivers.
Any sleepers, Ron?
I wouldn't necessarily call it a sleeper, but he got T. Higgins for $10, and that was a steal.
There you go.
I still think T. Higgins is going to be the number 1 on that team, and he's going to, even if not, like AJ Green had a lot of targets in this offense, and all of those could just go towards Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins could still get all of his targets. So $10 for that, he could be a steal.
I like that.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I've got some breakdown here, so I'll go next. So Ryan, I kind of disagree with Ron here. I think the depth of your team is actually absolutely insane. Your quarterbacks are fantastic with Dak Prescott and Tom Brady. You can't go wrong either week, depending on matchups. Dak, I think, will be your starter most of the weeks, but you're not going to lose with Brady in there by far. Brady's fantastic and was a steal later on in the draft for you. Odell and Chenault as backup wide receivers too. There's a lot of upside there. Chenault, not so high on him, but it's a bench player. So there's you picked on upside there. There's nothing wrong with that, and that's what you should do with your bench. And Damian Harris and Gaskins, also upside. I'm not as high on Gaskins after what I saw this past weekend, but he's there with some injuries. He gets a workload. Damian Harris is really the star of your depth, though. Go ahead, Ron.
It's Gaskin. One. There's only one of them.
I live in upstate New York. What do you want from me?
So do I, but I could say Gaskin.
Don't care. Anyway, on to the weaknesses. I think you have more faith in T. Higgins starting than I do. I really just don't think he's going to do the good this year. There's a lot of weapons there. I think the offensive line for the Bengals is shaky, and Joe Burrow just does not look like he's back from injury yet. So that's really something to be scared of. The sleeper with your team, it's Michael Gallup. He almost had 1,000 yards last year without Dak Prescott there. He's a large piece of the Dallas offense. JJ shaking his damn head on it. Shut up, JJ. It's not your turn. Don't care.
I didn't say anything, so don't tell me to shut up, Joe.
Emotionally, I told you to shut up. Yeah, bad.
Look at this thing. You shit on T. Higgins and then hype up Michael Gallup. What the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah, no. Ryan, I like your pick. So now let JJ bury it into the ground. Go
Thank
ahead.
you, Joe.
No. I also like Michael Gallup. That I'm not saying anything. He's getting a lot of work out of the slot, and he's one injury away from being a number 2 wide receiver on a very prolific offense. But T. Higgins is the number 1 for the Bengals.
To an injured Joe Burrow, but okay.
Yeah, I think Higgins is a really good player. Gallup, he's all right. They didn't re-up his contract. He's not. I mean, he's just not gonna. I just don't see him breaking out and having a huge year. And I think T. Higgins has that potential where he could have a 1,300-yard season with his rapport with Burrow once Burrow warms up a little bit. As far as Gaskin, I didn't like what I saw either. I'm a Bears fan. I watched that whole game, and Ron just walks off on me.
He's like, I don't need to listen to your shit.
It's just rude. It's just rude.
What a hateful dumbass.
Just
I don't know where I heard that before, but anyways, I watched the game, Dolphins-Bears game. And it was just when Gaskin came in for Malcolm Brown, like the talent difference was just like so blatant. I don't know what the hell they're doing. But yeah. So I think Gaskin will warm up like he did last year and he'll be okay. So I think he got decent depth at running back with Taylor and Eckler. Hawkinson, obviously, I'm high on, and Woods, I think, has top 10 potential. So Ryan's got a good team. He's stacked at quarterback. He may have to move one of those big guys for maybe another piece, maybe an upgrade at running back, maybe Taylor and Brady and one of those receivers for something big. But I think he's got a real good shot this year to contend.
I'm liking that you didn't walk on ice with that breakdown, JJ. That was good. And I think with that too. Yeah, and I think with that too, you can give our viewers a look into your team now, and we'll talk about it. And maybe Ron will be back for it, maybe not. So, let's see if his assholeness comes back.
I think we have a Lamar Jackson situation going on here. He had to run to the locker room here.
Oh yeah, you're saying the Taco Bell's getting to him, huh? He's gonna come back stronger than ever than MVP season.
That's right. I expect big things from Ron when he gets back.
All right, while we're waiting for him off the porcelain throne there, why don't you go into your team?
Ironically, my quarterback is Lamar Jackson, so this is too perfect here. So Lamar Jackson's my QB. I capped Alvin Kamara for $57, just looking at the keepers, and he was there at running back. I wanted to make sure I had one of the big three, and I had him for $57, which I think it's around what he would have gone for anyway. So that was kind of a conservative move. And then I kept McLaurin for only $10, so I thought that was a pretty good bargain. But
that was a fantastic pickup for you.
So I got Lamar Jackson, Alvin Kamara, Joe Mixon, AJ Brown, Terry McLaurin, Jerry Jeudy, Mike Gesicki, David Montgomery as my first flex, and Michael Pittman is my second flex. And then the Bears defense, of course. So I really like my starting lineup. I think my biggest weakness is my bench. My bench is, because I spend big early, I got limited to $1 with, I think, like my last 10 picks. And I missed out on some of the guys I wanted. I put up like, who did I put up? I put up Jacoby Myers, and your cousin, of course, did $2. I put up James Conner, sniped for $2. A lot of my $1 guys got stolen fields. So my bench is Damian Williams, just a handcuff of Montgomery. Devin Singletary, who I never would have drafted 2 weeks ago, but I watched the Bills-Lions game, and he looked really good. So I just took a shot on him. A.J. Dillon, another high-end handcuff. I picked up Ramondre Stevenson. I have Sammy Watkins, who got hurt already. Cole Kmet, obviously, is one of my favorite sleepers. And then Tony Jones from the Saints I added. I'd already talked about him, but I can see something big happening from him. So how's it going, Lamar Jackson?
Yeah. Got it. Visiting the porcelain god over there.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to make sure everything was going right.
Yeah. Do you remember to wipe?
No.
Yeah, that's great.
We have a bidet. I live that bidet life.
Living that bidet life. I love it. Yeah, and JJ, I also just wanted to point out, too, I believe Smith was sniping you on a few picks, too, and in our chat, you told him to kind of screw off in a much meaner way. But
well, I was very upset. One of the teams could have kept David Montgomery for $11 and then bid me up to like $34 on him, or $35.
You came away with him, though.
I wasn't going to lose him. I would have gave the rest of my money. And then Lamar, I spent $18 on him, and we went back and forth on that, and that cost me some of those later picks. So, yeah, Team Smith really threw a wrench in my plans, but it's all right. I'm a good manager. We'll make some moves on the waiver wire, and we'll
Run it
build the
back.
depth up here.
All right. So, all right, we'll go into all three aspects of JJ's team too. The guy that refers to himself as the motherfucking champ in our league, MF champ. The strengths of his team is obviously, I think, your running back depth here. Kamara, Mixon with Bernard gone, especially too, and with Montgomery there, man, like you've got a PPR nightmare going on for everybody else in this league. Like a lot of passing work potential with your team. It's going to be tough to beat on that aspect. The weaknesses with your team is honestly, I think your flex and your bench spot. I mean, come on, what the fuck were you thinking with Sammy Watkins, dude? Like he just flat out sucks and hasn't been good in years.
I got him for $1, and I'm reading all the hype on him in camp, and him and Lamar, and he was only healthy receiver, and he's already hurt today. So
he's always been hurt. He hasn't been good for
me.
5 years. He wasn't good in Kansas City. I don't know where you were thinking with that. Like I knew that would be the first player I would drop. I wouldn't even pick him up to begin with. So I just had to shit on you for that. Like that might have been your worst pickup I've ever seen you make, to be honest.
Damn.
Like I don't have the hype behind that. But then you did make your other weakness here. I think it was Michael Pittman too in the flex. I'm not big on him. He does have upside if Wentz comes back, but I don't really like Pittman. Your sleeper is the son of a bitch you stole for me because I really wanted him, Ramondre Stevenson. He may be a great flex player for you later on in the season. You picked him up obviously on waivers Monday. And I honestly think he could be starting for New England by week 4 or 5. Like he just is fantastic.
Yeah, I liked what I saw, and he clocked in the 4th fastest time in the preseason. 3rd was Justin Fields, but 4th was Ramondre Stevenson. So he was booking it down the sideline. So he had that explosion that I don't think you really get with Damian Harris.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he could take that job. So I got shares of him all over the place.
Okay, let's jump to something really quick because our boy is going to get booted in 4 minutes. So, JJ, you have a DFS lineup for us, right? Why don't you go over it really quick before your ass gets kicked out?
Yeah, my computer's about to shut down.
So here we are for the Lightning DFS round.
That's right.
You got a noise? Let's do it.
All right, so this lineup, I stacked a couple games that I think are going to be high scoring with shitty defense. So at quarterback, I got Jalen Hurts. Actually, it's just indoors at Atlanta. Chase Edmonds at running back, Travis Etienne at running back, AJ Brown, DeAndre Hopkins, Calvin Ridley, Kyle Pitts, Marvin Jones, only $3,600, and the Broncos defense. So I think that just looking at the schedule, week 1, where we're at now, I think the Philly-Atlanta game is going to be high scoring, and I think the Titans and Cardinals game is going to be pretty high scoring.
Mm-hmm.
So I have heavy shares in both those games as far as players. And yes, I played Kyle Pitts in his first NFL game. I just got a funny feeling he's going to have one of those debuts,
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't that expensive. I thought it'd be more expensive. So
and I know you're taking a lot of time into DSF, so we can't really rebuke you before you get off the air, but we can talk shit about it after. I
got 2.5 minutes.
That's fair. I do like your lineup, and it's nice and balanced too. So there is that. And I think with that, we'll move on to another lightning round team because this has got to be quick and it's way too early. So obviously these will be evaluated too. So lightning round. So with mine, I've got Jalen Hurts for the first week, as long as they don't trade for another QB there. 6,400, a good value. Dalvin Cook is my expensive pick at 9,100. Antonio Gibson because he's going to get a ton of work there with Washington. Calvin Ridley because he's going to be one of the best wide receivers in the league at 79. Brandon Ayuk in his breakout season, which he's going to be on pace for. Elijah Moore, man, I think he's going to have a fantastic season. He's $3,000 right now. He's an unknown commodity in Vegas right now, so he's going cheap for DFS. Troutman, another unknown commodity, 2,900. He could be the number 1 target there in week 1 because there is no one to throw to down there. Jets defense going up against Carolina. I think Sam Darnold's going to play like shit. They've got a good front 7. So 2,400 allows me to play those really expensive players for the week. So I'm going to try to take advantage of those really cheap players before they break out in the season. Everyone becomes expensive.
I like the bulk of your team, but I think you're putting a little bit too much faith in Elijah Moore in week 1. I feel like there's other wide receivers that are a little bit more proven that could probably get you. But if he hits, not a lot of people will start him. So
maybe it'll be my
understand.
2017 Tyreek Cohen and win me $1 million. So you never know.
Tyreek Cohen.
Yeah, JJ's dad won $1 million with that. So.
Yes,
On a
big Bears fan, 24/7,
Mhm.
week 1, 2017 season. Look it up. That's my old man.
Yep.
Won
yep.
the $1 million contest on DraftKings.
With Tyreek Cohen.
Tariq.
It happened.
Yeah. No, it didn't, though. It was Tyreek Cohen, not Tyreek Cohen, Joe.
Whatever. Give me your team so I can destroy it.
God. All right. You probably will. I am going in on a rookie this year also. I'm going to start my week 1 with Trevor Lawrence. He's going up against Houston. So,
Tune-up game.
yeah. Running back, I will do Dalvin Cook and then Najee Harris against Buffalo. Buffalo is pedestrian running
Goodbye, JJ.
defense.
See ya.
He's going to wave and then it's not going to happen.
He's
My
still
wide
here.
receivers that I'm going are Calvin Ridley, Corey Davis from the Jets. He was hyper targeted during the preseason game. I know Elijah Moore wasn't there, but the more time Elijah Moore misses, the more chemistry Zach Wilson's going to get with Corey Davis. I really hope his pitcher goes away because him being frozen like that, I got to hold on. Okay. That's better.
Had to get rid of it.
Yeah, that was real. It kicked him out at the weirdest possible time it could have.
It was fucking hilarious.
I am going with the stack with Trevor Lawrence, and I'm taking Marvin Jones. My tight end, he was alluded to earlier. You picked him up in our auction league. I'm going to go Anthony Ferguson against Arizona. $3,200. He could wicked outperform that price. For my flex, I went with, at this point, I was kind of lower on money, but I went with volume and what should be a good offense. So I went Mike Davis from Atlanta. As long as he continues projected as the starter, I think it'll be a pretty good flex pick. And then for my defense, I went with the Washington football team. They're going against the Chargers. That kind of scares me, but that defense has the potential of getting 5 sacks a game. So the pressure could just be monster against anybody, really.
What I like about your team here is the cheap option of Corey Davis. I believe he was, 59 or 54, but he's under
49.
He's 4,900 for number 1 wide receiver on a team.
DraftKings. Yeah,
that's right. And Wilson is showing already a propensity to throw to him in the preseason, hyper targeting him. So he may be an excellent value for him. We'll see how that goes when Elijah Moore comes back. Because like I said, I'm high on him, but I like that value pick for you.
And then Marvin Jones at 3,600 could outperform that so fast in the game.
He could. And I'll be making more lineups up in the upcoming seasons, and I'll probably include both of them in them. I was kind of curious, though. Could you look under your options and tell me what other running backs are under that price for Mike Davis? Is there anyone with more PPR upside? Maybe a Cardinals running back in that price range?
I don't trust either one of the Cardinals running backs.
What other running backs are in that price range?
Hold on. So it's my flex, so it doesn't just have to be running backs in that range. I could select Chase Claypool, who's injured. I don't trust that ankle. Kenny Galladay, I'm not ready to pull the trigger on there. Mike Williams, Kareem Hunt, Devontae Parker, Mike Davis, Odell Beckham. Russell Gage was sitting there. I thought about going there, but I already had Calvin Ridley, so I don't want to do Russell Gage too. Brandon Cooks, Melvin Gordon, Tyler Boyd, Damian Harris, Cortland Sutton, J.D. McKissick. And it gets worse after that.
Kareem Hunt might be the pick there. I understand he's a backup running back there, but man, did he get a lot of volume last year. I understand where you're going with your pick, but I think I like Kareem Hunt a little bit better just for the PPR upside.
Yeah, he's going against Kansas City.
Up for some work then.
Yeah, but I don't know. I wanted to go with Atlanta's going against Philly.
Yep.
I do think they'll have more opportunity to score than Cleveland does against Kansas City. I don't know.
But they're going to be needing to pass a lot in that game because it's going to be a high-scoring game. That's why Kareem Hunt's going to be on the field.
Also, another reason I did Mike Davis because I feel like more people will pick Kareem Hunt over Mike Davis. So if Mike Davis hits, that could give me an outlier that other people don't have.
I got that. And then he is a number one running back with no one else to really take targets there. Right. So I understand that. I do think Kareem Hunt's got more upside, but you are differentiating yourself from the field. So maybe make a few bets here, maybe one with Hunt and maybe one with Davis, in your opinion. I would go a few avenues here, but you can throw one of these two on two teams and see what hits, if anything.
Right, yeah, yeah.
And with that, I'd like one more lightning bolt and to get on to our final DraftKings or FanDuel's team with Ryan.
Yeah, so I'm kicking off my DraftKings lineup with Russell Wilson up against that Indianapolis defense. Also went with Alvin Kamara at Green Bay. Like Ron, I picked up Najee Harris against that Buffalo defense. I got T. Higgins up against Minnesota. I went with a stack and put Tyler Lockett with Russell Wilson. Just hope it's one of his boom games and not a bust game.
I like that a lot.
Then Brandon Ayuk. I also went Kyle Pitts in his NFL debut. Marvin Jones Jr. And then took the Vikings defense against the Bengals.
Shit, there's a lot of unknown, a lot of upside in your lineup. I like that, Ryan.
Yeah, it could be really good or really bad.
I feel like any DraftKings lineup I'm going to start, as long as Marvin Jones stays at what was he, the 3,600 that he's at right now, I feel like he's going to be locked into my flex or number 3 wide receiver at every point.
That's fair.
Yeah,
like just that price. If he doesn't have to do much to outperform that price.
Right. And remember, folks, these are our way too early DFS picks. They will be adjusting. I might keep this one, unless there's an injury, and pick up some more. And you'll have more lineups closer to the league. But these are ones to start looking at, going into week 1. And did you guys want to comment on JJ's team while he's not here really quick, and then we'll get out of here?
I don't remember enough of it to comment on it.
Ryan's got something.
Yeah, I don't either. But I was just going to comment on Kyle Pitts really quick. Just it's his NFL debut, but I think he's the 8th lowest. Like he's 8th in salaries for tight ends. So like he doesn't have to do that much in order to really make it worth it, in my opinion. So
right, and if he goes off, he's going to be significantly more expensive after that, just on the damn name. So if you're going to play him and then you believe in him, do it week 1. Yeah, this is the week 1.
All right, this has been Garbage Time Fantasy Football. Make sure you visit us over at www.garbagetimeff.com. Leave us voicemails or hate mails.
Like Christian does.
Right. Leave a review on Apple Podcast. Follow us over there.
We got a few now.
Give us a good review. We've got some. They're starting to circulate. You don't want to be left out. Join the heckling fandom. That's what we want. We want more people. Subscribe on our YouTube at Garbage Time Fantasy Football. Make sure you hit the bell icon. Like our videos. Because if you want more, you got to hit that bell icon so you know when we're coming in.
You don't need to skate on ice for us. And Ron, don't forget to get rid of that bar at the bottom, because then the last part won't be very good if you
I
don't
already
do that
got
stuff.
it ready to go. Remember,
he's already ready to do it.
Remember to go over and subscribe and listen to Garbage Time Presents the MMA podcast, hosted by our very own Ryan Warner.
One more line, slingers.
Yeah, he had to find his bar in the bottom there.
Took me a minute.
It's also on his Instagram at Garbage Time MMA. Go over there. We are also on Instagram at Garbage Time Fantasy Football. You can leave us comments there. You can see our personal Instas / Twitter. You can leave us comments and stuff on there. Also, give us something to talk about.
We did also post our teams on there if you want to go back and reevaluate them and talk shit over the voicemails. There
is a slight mess up on my team. It says I have Matt Stafford when I really have Matt Ryan. So just throwing that out there. I'd rather have Matt Stafford, but he was already taken.
And when
All
that
right.
screw up, it's just
With-
like garbage time fantasy football. Get us the F out of here.
Yeah, that's right. We'll be back later this week.